Have you ever, you know, paused before hitting upload on maybe a sensitive document, wondering who really has access to it up there in the cloud?
Hmm.
Or maybe you just feel, frankly, a bit overwhelmed by the sheer amount of digital stuff we all juggle every day.
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot.
These questions around data privacy, security, true ownership, they feel more urgent now than ever before, don't they?
Absolutely.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into Volt. It's a really interesting solution built on top of the ZUS network.
Right. And ZUS itself is that decentralized cloud platform, sort of the backbone for Vult Storage. Secure, high performance.
Exactly. So our mission for this deep dive is to unpack Volt's, well, ambitious strategy for global expansion and getting into the market. We want to explore how it's designed to tackle some of those big anxieties in our digital lives.
Especially around privacy, security.
And that rapidly expanding world of AI, right? We're going to dissect the why is it needed, the who's it actually for, and the how do they plan to scale this thing?
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, let's get into it. We're living through this, constant digital transformation. Data is absolutely everywhere. And honestly, so are the headaches that come with managing it all.
Sure.
From your perspective, what are the really pressing pain points Volt seems uniquely positioned to address? And I guess why haven't the existing solutions quite cracked them yet?
That's a great place to start because Volt is really aiming to tackle some fundamental issues. The sources we looked at highlight, first and foremost, these massive data privacy and security concerns.
Sorry.
You think about traditional centralized clouds, AWS, Google, Azure they are, just by design, single points of failure.
Right, one big target.
Exactly. Makes them prime targets for cyber attacks. Big data breaches, ransomware nightmares. Volt's approach, using fragmentation and distributed storage.
So breaking data up and scattering it.
Precisely. Breaking it into tiny encrypted pieces and scattering them across a global network. That drastically reduces the risk. There's no single treasure chest for an attacker to find and crack open.
Makes sense.
And beyond just attacks, there's this sort of broader issue of government surveillance, maybe censorship. Decentralization offers what Volt calls digital sovereignty.
Digital sovereignty.
Yeah, because it makes it incredibly difficult for any single entity, government or corporation, to control or censor your data. It's a powerful idea for anyone who values, their independence online.
Yeah, I can see that.
And, this also ties into tackling that feeling of vendor lock-in. So many people feel stuck.
Oh, tell me about it.
Right, stuck with one cloud provider. Moving your data is expensive, complex, sometimes just a nightmare. Volt's architecture is designed to offer much greater flexibility, independence. It kind of flips the power dynamic back to you, the user. Their focus on user-owned keys, transparent blockchain, records it directly addresses that feeling of not having control.
I can absolutely relate to that vendor lock-in issue. I remember trying to move, I think it was my photo library, a few years back from one cloud to another. It felt like pulling teeth.
Yep, sounds familiar.
So I really get that pain point. It really is about trust and control, isn't it? Things often missing today. But okay, beyond general privacy, the sources pointed to something really specific and growing fast. Secure AI data storage and processing. How does Volt fit into that picture?
Right, this is where Volt seems to be making a really strategic play. AI models, they don't just need massive amounts of data, these huge data lakes.
They need it fast.
Exactly. They need incredibly fast data ingestion. The ZUS network, which Volt is built on, actually claims to offer faster AI data ingestion than even a giant like AWS S3.
Wow, faster than S3. That's a bold claim.
It is. And it's not just about speed bragging rights. It feels like a strategic move to potentially disrupt the whole data pipeline for AI. Maybe democratize access to high-performance AI training, bypassing the traditional giants' control, and importantly, their cost structures.
Interesting.
And furthermore, as AI gets, woven into everything, the need for privacy-preserving AI is just exploding.
Right. How do you use the data without exposing it?
Precisely. Volt highlights its zero-knowledge approach. This means the AI can process data, do its computations, without ever revealing the underlying sensitive information. It's like a sealed box analogy. The AI works with what's inside, but nobody, not even Volt itself, gets to see the actual contents.
That's pretty clever.
And they can even securely store AI chat sessions. That's a huge differentiator as these AI assistants become, ubiquitous.
Yeah, thinking about all those chat logs.
Exactly. And then, of course, there's the cost of AI data management. Traditional clouds can hit you hard with egress fees.
Ah, yes, the cost of getting your own data out.
Right. It's crazy sometimes. And charges for API calls, especially with big AI workloads, they add up fast. Volt offers free egress and unlimited API calls.
Free egress, that's a big deal.
It's a game changer, potentially. It really shifts the power dynamic away from the provider and back to the user, makes data truly portable, challenges that sticky nature of centralized clouds, forces them to compete on service, not just login.
And for businesses, that could mean serious savings.
Huge savings. Optimizing cloud spend. And with digital data growing exponentially, there's just this constant demand for affordable, scalable solutions. Volt aims to be exactly that.
Okay, so Vault is tackling privacy, security, AI needs, and cost. With all those pain points and solutions laid out, the obvious next question is, who exactly is this for? Who stands to benefit most? What kind of users? What businesses are they really targeting?
Well, they've identified quite a diverse range, but all sort of connected by those pain points we discussed.
Fair.
First up, you've got the privacy-conscious individuals.
Okay, people like us, maybe?
Could be anyone actively looking for alternatives to, say, Google Drive or Dropbox. People who actually care about true data ownership, strong encryption. The folks who maybe don't just click agree without reading.
Gotcha.
Then you have Web3 developers and projects.
Yep.
Makes sense, right? Decentralized applications, DApps, they inherently need decentralized storage solutions. It fits their whole ethos.
Right, aligns with the philosophy.
Exactly. The ZUS Network's blockchain base is a really natural, strong fit there. It's about walking the walk, technologically.
Okay, so individuals, Web3 devs. What about businesses?
For businesses, they're targeting enterprises with sensitive data. Think highly regulated industries, healthcare, finance, legal.
Places where compliance is king.
Absolutely. These sectors need top-notch security, compliance with strict rules like HIPAA for health data, GDPR in Europe, and they often need immutability for critical data, like contracts or audit trails. Volt's approach offers not just security, but potentially a real compliance edge.
Makes sense for them.
And as we touched on, AML companies and researchers are a core target. Organizations dealing with massive data sets for training AI models, inferencing.
Yeah.
They need high performance, cost effectiveness, and privacy. Volt ticks those boxes.
So the AI focus is definitely key.
Very key. And finally, creators and archivists. People or organizations needing immutable, censorship-resistant storage for valuable digital assets. Think NFTs, historical records, digital art. It's about ensuring the long-term integrity and availability of that digital heritage.
What stands out there is how specific yet varied those markets are. It really paints a picture of Volt not trying to be, everything to everyone, but really focusing.
Exactly.
Specializing. You highlighted the strengths. But let's talk competition. How does Volt actually stack up against the giants, the AWS and Googles? And what about other decentralized players? Where might Volt still have ground to make up?
That's the critical question, isn't it? Against the traditional cloud giants, AWS S3, Google Cloud, Azure Look, they're established, they're mature, they have incredibly broad feature sets. That's undeniable.
Right, the incumbents.
Vault's advantages really lie in that decentralized control, the lower risk of breaches because of the fragmentation, no vendor lock-in, and that stronger emphasis on privacy, zero knowledge. Plus that free egress, it's a major cost difference.
Okay, so clear trade-offs there. What about other decentralized options? Filecoin, Storage, Arweave?
Right, the decentralized landscape is getting crowded. Volt differentiates itself in a few key ways here. First, it's split-key technology and proxy re-encryption.
Okay, break that down a bit.
So instead of one master key controlling everything, Volt breaks your encryption key into multiple parts, distributes them. Then, proxy re-encryption lets you securely share data by re-encrypting it for the recipient, without anyone, not even Volt, ever needing to decrypt the original data first.
Huh. Like rewrapping a gift without opening the original box.
That's a great analogy.
So-
Exactly. It allows for really granular control and secure sharing, which is pretty unique.
Interesting tech. What else?
Crucially, it's focused on AI data performance. We mentioned the ZUS Network's claim of faster AI data ingestion. They also have integrated Volt AI tools, like AI Chat, AI Agent. That gives them a real edge in the AI space compared to many general-purpose decentralized storage solutions.
So they're leaning into AI hard.
Very much so. And again, that free egress and unlimited API calls combo is a strong cost differentiator. Many competitors still charge for those. Finally, ZUS aims for high availability, 99.999% uptime.
5 nines. That's ambitious for decentralized tech.
Extremely ambitious. It speaks volumes about their commitment to enterprise-grade reliability, which is vital for building trust, especially compared to maybe less mature decentralized options.
And versus, say, building your own private cloud.
Compared to private cloud solutions, Volt offers that private cloud-like security and control, but without the huge upfront costs or needing a big internal IT team to manage it all. It's kind of a middle ground, the benefits, without the massive overhead.
Okay. And this AI storage market they're targeting, it's big.
It's booming. Projected to hit something like USD 190 billion by 2032, with a compound annual growth rate over 25%. It's massive. Vult integrating AI features directly into its secure, decentralized platform positions it really well in this high-growth, disruptive market.
So it definitely sounds like Volt has found a very relevant, very timely market fit. They're hitting critical pain points. They have clear differentiators.
For so.
But, having a great idea and a solution isn't the whole game. How do they actually plan to translate this into real-world market reach? How do they expand globally? What's the strategic playbook?
Yeah, execution is key. Their plan seems very strategic, very phased. They're not just trying to boil the ocean launch everywhere at once.
Yeah.
Phase one is all about deepening that market penetration and establishing strategic global hubs.
Okay, targeted approach.
Very targeted, focusing on specific enterprise verticals where Vult's unique features really shine.
Like the ones you mentioned earlier, healthcare, finance?
Exactly. In healthcare, that IPay compliance, potential, and secure medical records are huge. In finance and legal, the immutability for contracts, audit trails, massive selling point. Media entertainment, high-speed data for big files, content provenance for NFTs.
Yeah.
And they're actively going after AML startups and labs, even creating a dedicated Volt AI tier. They know where the demand is strongest.
Smart. And geographically, where are these hubs?
Instead of that simultaneous global launch, they're focusing on key regions based on market readiness, regulatory alignment. North America's obvious big cloud adoption, lots of Web3, lots of AI development.
Makes sense.
Europe, especially places like Germany, Switzerland, the Netherlands, strong data privacy rules like GDPR make Vult's zero-knowledge approach really compelling. It aligns with the values there.
Right, playing to regional strengths.
Then APAC, Singapore, Japan. Rapidly growing cloud and blockchain markets. There, they'll likely highlight speed, cost-effectiveness for mobile-first apps, and the Middle East, places like UAE, Saudi Arabia emerging tech hubs, governments pushing digital transformation. Volt could fit nicely into smart city initiatives.
So a very deliberate rollout. How do they build the actual storage network in these places?
That's crucial. Building out the Blobber network globally. Blobbers are the local storage providers, the nodes in the ZUS network. Volt plans to incentivize them, maybe with ZCN tokens, maybe simplifying the setup. They'll also partner with existing data centers in these strategic locations to scale the network quickly, ensuring low latency, high availability. It's about building that physical footprint.
That's certainly a detailed plan for phase one, building that strong foundation before trying to scale too broadly. It's smart, focusing where the need and the rules align with what they offer.
Definitely seems thoughtful.
But once those hubs are up and running, the infrastructure's there.
Yeah.
How do they get the word out? How do they really grow the user base? What's phase two look like?
Okay, that brings us to phase two. Scaling user acquisition and go-to-market. A huge piece here is localized marketing and community building.
Not just translating, right?
Exactly. It's not just swapping words on the website. It's making the message resonate culturally. You highlight privacy in Europe, maybe speed in Asia, enterprise features in North America. It means engaging local Web3 communities, meetups, sponsoring events, being active on Telegram, Discord, Reddit, but in the local language.
Boots on the ground, digitally speaking.
Pretty much. Plus, using influencer marketing where appropriate, running localized ad campaigns, tailoring the approach.
Makes sense.
What else for go-to-market?
Then there's a big focus on strategic partnerships and integrations. This is vital for getting mainstream adoption, not just staying in the Web3 niche.
Integrating with existing tools.
Yes. Developing APIs, plugins to connect with popular Web2 enterprise tools, Salesforce, Microsoft 365, even integrating with major clouds for backup solutions. Make it easy for businesses to start using Volt without ripping everything else out.
Lowering the barrier to entry.
Precisely. They're also active in decentralized alliances. ZUS is already in the Decentralized Storage Alliance, which helps build credibility. And, crucially, forging partnerships with other Web3 projects.
Like becoming the default storage for dApps.
Exactly. Imagine Volt being the go-to storage layer for decentralized social media NFT marketplaces. That creates a powerful network effect. Volt becomes part of the underlying infrastructure for this growing digital economy.
That could really drive adoption.
For sure. And finally, to land those bigger enterprise clients, they're building a global enterprise sales team. hiring experienced B2B SaaS sales folks, creating compelling case studies with early wins, offering tiered pricing, SLAs, service level agreements, and dedicated support. All the things enterprises expect.
That's a really comprehensive plan for growth. Infrastructure marketing, partnerships, sales. They've clearly thought through getting the product out there.
It seems quite thorough.
But, for long-term success, you can't just stop there. Continuous evolution is key. What's in store beyond just acquiring users and establishing that presence? What's phase 3? What's on the horizon for Vult?
Right, you need to keep innovating. That's phase 3. Continuous innovation and ecosystem expansion. A big part of this is enhancing their Vult AI offering.
Doubling down on AI.
Absolutely. They plan to monetize Vult AI, maybe pay-per-query, tiered access models, expand its capabilities. Think decentralized model training, federated learning.
Where the model learns without the data leaving the owner.
Exactly. That's huge for privacy. And opening up the Vult AI API, so other developers can build their own AI applications using ZUS as that secure data backbone, fostering innovation on top of their platform.
Building an ecosystem.
Precisely. Which leads to the next point, fostering a robust developer ecosystem. Launching grant programs to fund developers building on ZUS, providing great documentation, SDKs, hosting hackathons, developer challenges. That's how these decentralized networks really take off, empowering the builder.
Get the community involved.
Yes, it's essential. And finally, to really solidify that enterprise trust, they'll be focusing on global governance and compliance, establishing a decentralized governance model, maybe something like a DAO, where ZCN token holders get to vote on network upgrades, strategic directions.
Giving the community a say.
Right, and proactively pursuing those critical compliance certifications, SOC2, ISO 27001. These are industry benchmarks, table stakes really, for winning over large, cautious enterprises.
Okay, so continuous AI development, developer ecosystem, and solid governance and compliance. That covers the long game.
Seems to be the plan.
Now, if we connect all this back to the bigger picture, Vult's strategic roadmap is, well, it's incredibly impressive. It seems designed to tackle some massive market shifts head-on. They're clearly thinking several steps ahead.
They're ambitious.
But, no journey like this is smooth sailing. What are some of the potential bumps in the road? What challenges might Vult realistically face on this path to global dominance?
Absolutely. It's definitely not without hurdles. One key challenge, I think, will be awareness and education. It feels like we've been saying this about blockchain tech for years, right?
Yeah, simplifying the complex.
Exactly. Clearly communicating the benefits, the nuances of decentralized storage to a broader, non-technical audience that's crucial. They need to make it understandable without losing the core value proposition.
Tricky balance.
Very tricky. And related to that is ease of use for non-technical users. Vult aims to be user-friendly, but the underlying tech can still feel intimidating for many people. Continuous focus on intuitive UI, seamless UX, making it feel just as easy as using Dropbox or Google Drive that's paramount.
Frictionless adoption.
Right. Then there's the perception and reality of performance for all use cases.
Yeah.
ZUS claims great performance for AI data ingestion, but they need to prove consistent wire speed performance across a wide variety of applications, not just AI, to really match the perception, at least, of the established centralized guys.
Bridging that perception gap.
It can be tough. And finally, interoperability. Ensuring Vult integrates seamlessly with existing enterprise workflows, existing applications, it's going to be vital for broader adoption. Businesses generally don't want to rip and replace everything.
They need to fit in.
They need to fit into the current digital landscape, not demand the landscape changes entirely just for them. It has to be a smooth transition.
Makes sense. Those are significant challenges.
They are. But, despite these hurdles, Vult, built on the ZUS network, really does seem to have a highly relevant, very timely market fit. It effectively addresses those critical pain points, data privacy, security, the huge demands of AI workloads, all while offering this cost-effective, decentralized alternative.
Yeah.
That blend of advanced encryption, the AI integration, and just the fundamental principles of data sovereignty. It really positions it interestingly for the future, I think.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, the listener? We've taken a pretty deep dive into Vult's vision today, from its unique tech, like that split key stuff. It's a very phased, very strategic, global expansion plan. It's a fascinating look at how companies are really trying to reshape the future of data storage, data sovereignty, challenging the status quo.
It's definitely trying to shake things up.
And you can really see how that interplay of Innovative technology, meeting urgent market needs, and having a clear strategic roadmap, how all those pieces are critical for success in this rapidly evolving digital world.
Absolutely. Strategy matters.
Which leaves us with a final thought, maybe a provocative question. As our digital lives become more and more intertwined with AI, and as that need for real data privacy just keeps growing, how might Vaults approach this user-owned, decentralized, AI-optimized storage? How might that fundamentally change the way we interact with our data in the coming years?
Mm.
What might it truly look like when your data genuinely belongs to you without those traditional gatekeepers calling all the shots?